For thousands of years, one story has hovered between myth and memory, the tale of a mighty city, of heroes whose names echo through time, and of a war so dramatic that even the gods chose sides. But what if it wasn't just a legend? What if beneath a quiet mound in northwestern Turkey, archaeologists uncovered the real Troy? Layer by layer, civilization by civilization, until history and myth finally touched. Today we dive deep into the truth behind one of the world's greatest epics. This is the real story of Troy, the myth, the archaeology, and the city that once dominated the ancient world. Long before satellite maps and academic journals, the world knew Troy from one source, Homer's Iliad. Homer speaks of a city called Ilion, ruled by King Priam, a city well-walled, windy, tall, proud, and wealthy. The conflict began, as the story goes, when Paris, Prince of Troy, carried Helen, the most beautiful woman in Greece, back to his city. Outraged, her husband Menelaus called upon the Greek kingdoms to unite against Troy. For 10 years, war consumed the plains outside its gates. Achilles clashed with Hector. Armies stormed walls. Heroes rose and fell. And at its climax came the most iconic deception in ancient storytelling. A giant wooden horse, welcomed into the city, hiding soldiers inside, a trick that sealed Troy's destruction. For centuries, most scholars believe this entire narrative was just literature gripping, poetic, symbolic, but fictional. But was it? For most of classical history, the existence of Troy was heavily doubted. Historians believed Homer's work was an oral tradition embellished over centuries. The geography couldn't be verified. The timeline didn't match known civilizations, and no physical city truly aligned with the grandeur described. Many thought it was simply a dramatic tale to explain Bronze Age tensions between Greeks and Anatolians, until one man refused to accept that. In 1822, in a small German village, Heinrich Schliemann was born. Most people knew him as a businessman, wealthy, multilingual, ambitious. But privately, he was obsessed with one idea. Troy was real, not metaphoric, not symbolic. Real. He carried the Iliad everywhere. He studied ancient geography. He analyzed Homeric clues like a detective. By the 1860s, with fortune in hand, he decided to prove the world wrong. He traveled through Greece, Turkey, and the Mediterranean. He spoke to locals, examined landscapes, and studied ancient distances and directions described by Homer. Everything pointed him to a humble mound called Hisarlik, near the Dardanelles in Turkey. Schliemann believed this mound hid the legendary city, and in 1870 he began to dig. What Schliemann found shocked the academic world. Under Hisarlik, buried beneath layers of soil and time, was not one city, but many. 9 separate cities stacked on top of one another, each destroyed, rebuilt, and destroyed again over thousands of years. Archaeologists later named them Troy I through Troy X, Troy I, a tiny early Bronze Age settlement. Troy IIv, growing towns fortified but modest. Troy VIIa, a flourishing, powerful city around 1700 to 1250 BC with massive stone walls. Troy VIIa, a smaller but heavily fortified city showing signs of siege and violent destruction around 1200 BC. Troy VIIIx, classical and Roman-era cities built after the legendary events. Schliemann was convinced he had found Homer's Troy, but he didn't yet know which layer matched the epic. Still, his discovery alone changed history. Troy existed. It was real, and it was ancient. Later archaeologists, Carl Blegen, Manfred Korfmann, and others carefully studied each layer. Their findings created a clear picture. The top candidates: Troy VI, massive walls, impressive defenses, prosperous, destroyed likely by an earthquake around 1250 BC. Troy VIa, built immediately after Troy VIIa, smaller houses, possibly overcrowded, evidence of arrowheads and weapons, storage jars buried for siege conditions, destroyed violently by fire around 1180 BC. So who was Homer talking about? Most scholars believe the real Trojan War, the conflict that inspired the myth, corresponds to Troy VIa or the end of Troy V. The timeline aligns with the Bronze Age collapse, a real period when major cities across the Mediterranean were destroyed. Was it exactly as Homer said? No, but was there a devastating war at Troy? The evidence strongly suggests yes. Why would powerful kingdoms fight over Troy? Because Troy sat at one of the most strategic locations in the ancient world. It controlled access to the Dardanelles, the gateway between the Aegean and the Black Sea. Control the strait, and you control trade routes, shipping lanes, grain imports, metal exports, military passage. This wasn't just a city. It was a choke point of global economic importance. A war over Troy didn't require a stolen woman. Its location alone was enough to start a decade-long conflict. Schliemann was celebrated as a pioneer, but he was also criticized. His digging methods were destructive. He removed massive amounts of soil, cutting through layers that could have provided crucial context. He smuggled artifacts, including the infamous Priam's treasure. Modern archaeologists believe the treasure was from a much older layer, not the time of Homer. Despite his flaws, Schliemann sparked a revolution. Without him, Troy might still be considered myth. So was the Trojan War real? Not like Homer told it. Not with gods descending from Olympus or Achilles, invulnerable, except for his heel. Not with a giant wooden horse rolled triumphantly into a city. But a real war? A real city? A real destruction? Yes, archaeology confirms that a powerful city named Troy existed. One that fell violently in the late Bronze Age. The legend grew from the ashes of real events, shaped over centuries into the epic we know today. Myth did not replace history. Myth preserved it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the truth behind Troy, share your thoughts below. Do you think Homer preserved history or transformed it into legend? Tap the like button if this story fascinated you. Subscribe for more powerful explorations of ancient civilizations, mysteries, and forgotten history. And hit the notification bell so you never miss the next adventure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.